In the dead of night, in a violent city, a police dog sniffs out the unexpected in an extremely dangerous neighborhood. His heart races upon discovering an abandoned baby in an old car, crying desperately. With his protective instinct, the brave dog tries to remove the newborn, facing challenges and dangerous gangs to bring him to safety. Upon unraveling the shocking reason for the abandonment, even the toughest cops can't hold back their tears. The neon lights of downtown Chicago flicker erratically, casting an eerie glow over the rain-slicked streets. It's past midnight, and the once bustling, windy city has transformed into a labyrinth of shadows and whispered dangers. The iconic skyline looms ominously against the overcast sky, its towering skyscrapers standing as silent sentinels over the urban sprawl below. In the heart of a neglected neighborhood on the south side, dilapidated buildings with boarded-up windows line the pothole-ridden streets. The distant wail of sirens mingles with the occasional bark of a stray dog, creating a haunting urban symphony. The air is thick with tension, a palpable unease that seems to seep from the very concrete beneath the cracked sidewalks. Amidst this bleak tableau, a solitary figure emerges from the mist. Cooper, a sturdy golden Labrador with intelligent eyes and a purposeful gait, pads silently along the empty sidewalk. His vest, emblazoned with Canine Rescue in reflective letters, gleams under the sporadic streetlights. Every few steps, Cooper's ears prick up, alert to the slightest sound that might pierce through the city's nocturnal hum. As Cooper rounds a corner, he passes a group of teenagers huddled under a graffiti-covered awning, their wary eyes following his movement. The dog's presence seems to part the shadows, a beacon of hope in a neighborhood long forgotten by the glittering promise of the Chicago Loop just a few miles north. Suddenly, a gust of wind carries a faint sound, barely perceptible but unmistakable to Cooper's trained ears. The dog freezes, his whole body tensing as he turns his head towards a dimly lit side street. There, partially hidden in the gloom, sits an abandoned car, its once shiny exterior now dulled by neglect and the unforgiving urban elements. Cooper, our canine protagonist, is no ordinary Labrador. At 4 years old, he's in his prime, with a glossy golden coat that belies the grit and determination beneath. Bred and trained by the Chicago Police Department's K9 unit, Cooper possesses an uncanny ability to sense danger and an unwavering drive to protect the innocent. His warm brown eyes, usually filled with a gentle intelligence, now gleam with intense focus as he patrols the streets. Cooper's handler and partner, Officer Sarah Thompson, isn't physically present on this night patrol, but her influence is evident in every move the dog makes. A seasoned K9 officer with a decade of experience, Sarah has instilled in Cooper not just the skills needed for urban search and rescue, but also a deep sense of empathy. Their bond, forged through countless training sessions and high-stakes operations, is unbreakable. As Cooper investigates the abandoned car, we're introduced to Captain Jack Morrison, the gruff but compassionate leader of the 21st District. A Chicago native with salt and pepper hair and a face etched with the lines of a career spent battling the city's toughest challenges, Morrison has seen it all. Yet beneath his tough exterior lies a heart that still aches for every victim and celebrates every life saved. The neighborhood itself emerges as a character in its own right. Once a vibrant community filled with the American dream, it now stands as a testament to urban decay and systemic neglect. Boarded-up storefronts tell tales of economic hardship, while the occasional glimmer of light from a window speaks to the resilience of those who remain, determined to reclaim their home from the shadows of crime and despair. As we delve deeper into the world of our story, we encounter Emily Watson, a young mother in her late 20s, whose life has taken a harrowing turn. With mousy brown hair often pulled back in a messy ponytail and dark circles under her green eyes, Emily's appearance reflects the weight of her recent struggles. A single parent working 2 jobs to make ends meet, she found herself inadvertently entangled with a local gang, the Southside Skulls, after witnessing a crime she was never meant to see. The leader of the Southside Skulls, a man known only as Razor, looms large in the neighborhood's collective consciousness. Though rarely seen, his influence permeates every shadowy corner and abandoned lot. Razor's reputation for ruthlessness is matched only by his cunning, making him a formidable adversary for law enforcement and a terrifying threat to Emily and her child. In the heart of this urban drama is the true innocent, a 3-month-old baby boy named Charlie. With wisps of blonde hair and bright blue eyes, Charlie represents hope and vulnerability in equal measure. His cries, barely audible from the confines of the abandoned car, are what draw Cooper's keen attention and set our story in motion. Lastly, we have Detective Lisa Chen, a rising star in the Chicago PD's organized crime division. With her sharp mind and unwavering dedication, Lisa has been working tirelessly to bring down the Southside Skulls. Tonight's events will test her skills, compassion, and resolve as she races against time to unravel the connection between a crying baby, a heroic dog, and the city's most notorious gang. The stillness of the night is suddenly shattered by a heart-wrenching sound, the desperate cry of an infant. Cooper's ears perk up, his body tensing as he pinpoints the source, the abandoned car he'd noticed earlier. With measured steps, he approaches the vehicle, his training kicking in as he assesses the situation. The cry grows more insistent, spurring Cooper into action. Using his powerful jaws, he grips the slightly ajar driver's side door and pulls it open with a determined tug. The interior light flickers to life, revealing a bundle of blankets on the back seat. As Cooper leans in, his nose twitching, the blankets shift and a tiny face emerges. It's baby Charlie, red-faced and distressed. Without hesitation, Cooper gently takes the edge of the blanket in his mouth, carefully maneuvering the precious bundle out of the car. The weight of responsibility settles on him as he cradles the infant securely. With one last glance at the abandoned vehicle, Cooper sets off down the street, his pace quickening as he heads towards the 21st precinct. As he navigates the darkened streets, the wail of distant sirens and the occasional shout from shadowy alleys remind him of the dangers that lurk in every corner of this troubled neighborhood. As Cooper trots through the dimly lit streets of Chicago's South Side, his mind races with the instincts and training that guide his every move. The weight of the baby in his mouth reminds him of the countless drills with Officer Sarah Thompson, where they practiced carrying delicate objects. Sarah's voice echoes in his memory. Gentle but firm, Cooper. Lives depend on your care. Meanwhile, at the 21st precinct, Captain Jack Morrison paces in his office, the lines on his face deepening with each step. He's just received word of increased gang activity in the area, and the weight of the community's safety bears down on his shoulders. As he glances at the wall of commendations and newspaper clippings chronicling his career, Jack's mind wanders to the rookie he once was, full of idealism and determination to make a difference. Across town, Emily Watson huddles in a dimly lit motel room, her hands shaking as she dials a number she swore she'd never use. "Please," she whispers into the phone, "I need help. They're after me, and I had to leave Charlie somewhere safe." Her voice breaks, the pain of separation from her baby almost unbearable. The voice on the other end belongs to Detective Lisa Chen, who sits up straight in her chair, instantly alert. "Emily, stay calm. Tell me exactly what happened," Lisa says, her tone professional yet tinged with concern. As Emily recounts her harrowing tale of witnessing a Southside Skulls operation gone wrong and the subsequent threats, Lisa's mind works overtime, connecting dots and formulating a plan. In the shadows of an abandoned warehouse, Razor, the enigmatic leader of the Southside Skulls, receives word of Emily's disappearance and the missing baby. His cold eyes narrow as he contemplates the potential threat to his operation. "Find them," he hisses to his lieutenant, "and make sure no one talks." As Cooper approaches the 21st precinct with baby Charlie securely in his grasp, an unexpected challenge emerges. A group of rowdy teenagers, oblivious to the gravity of the situation, spot the dog and begin to call out and whistle. Their noise threatens to draw unwanted attention, potentially alerting any of Razor's watchful gang members who might be lurking nearby. Cooper must make a split-second decision: maintain his course and risk exposure, or deviate to a longer, safer route. Opting for caution, Cooper veers into a narrow alley, his paws silent on the damp pavement. The new path, however, presents its own set of obstacles. Overflowing dumpsters and scattered debris force the loyal Labrador to carefully maneuver, all while keeping the precious bundle in his mouth steady. The alley seems to stretch endlessly, each turn potentially leading to danger or salvation. Meanwhile, Captain Jack Morrison faces a different kind of challenge at the precinct. As he mobilizes his team to respond to the unfolding crisis, he receives a call from the police commissioner. Budget cuts are looming, and the commissioner demands that Morrison scale back operations. "We can't afford overtime for a wild goose chase," the commissioner barks through the phone. Morrison, his jaw clenched, must now figure out how to allocate his limited resources effectively while ensuring the safety of Emily, Charlie, and the integrity of the investigation. Across town, Detective Lisa Chen arrives at Emily's motel, only to find the room empty. Signs of a hasty departure are evident. Drawers left open, a half-empty coffee cup still warm on the nightstand. Lisa's heart races as she realizes that Emily, driven by fear and maternal instinct, has fled again. The detective must now not only protect Emily from the Southside Skulls, but also from her own panicked decisions that could inadvertently lead her into greater danger. In the shadows of the city, Razor receives updates from his network of informants. The news of a police dog carrying a baby through the streets has reached his ears, and he quickly connects the dots to Emily and her child. Razor's cold calculation kicks in as he weighs the risks and potential benefits of this situation. He could use the baby as leverage against Emily, ensuring her silence, but the increased police activity poses a significant threat to his operations. Razor must navigate this precarious situation carefully, balancing his need for control with the growing scrutiny from law enforcement. As these challenges converge, the stakes continue to rise. Cooper's journey becomes increasingly perilous. Morrison grapples with bureaucratic obstacles, Lisa races against time to locate Emily, and Razor plots his next move in the intricate chess game of Chicago's underworld. As Cooper navigates the labyrinthine alleys, a new obstacle emerges. The sound of approaching footsteps echoes off the brick walls, growing louder with each passing second. Cooper's keen senses detect the acrid smell of cigarette smoke and the metallic scent of a firearm. Two of Razor's gang members out on patrol are heading directly towards him. With no time to backtrack, Cooper must find a way to remain undetected while protecting baby Charlie. Thinking quickly, Cooper spots a pile of discarded cardboard boxes near a dumpster. With gentle precision, he places Charlie, still wrapped securely in the blanket, behind the boxes. Then, using his body to shield the baby from view, Cooper positions himself as if he's merely a stray dog rummaging through trash. His heart pounds as the gang members pass by, their conversation drifting through the alley. "Boss wants us to find that woman and her kid," one says it's top priority. Once the danger passes, Cooper retrieves Charlie, but the close call has added a new urgency to his mission. At the precinct, Captain Morrison's challenges multiply. As he's coordinating search efforts for Emily and preparing for Cooper's arrival, he receives alarming news. A mole within the department has been feeding information to the Southside Skulls. The revelation shakes Morrison to his core, forcing him to question whom he can trust. With potential leaks threatening the entire operation, he must now conduct the search for Emily and protect baby Charlie while rooting out the traitor in his midst. Detective Lisa Chen, still in pursuit of the elusive Emily, faces a moral dilemma. She manages to track Emily to a bus station, ready to flee the city. However, as Lisa approaches, she notices Emily's desperate and frightened state. The detective realizes that arresting Emily might guarantee her safety, but could also traumatize the young mother and potentially destroy any chance of her cooperating to bring down the Southside Skulls. Lisa must decide whether to follow protocol or take a riskier, more compassionate approach. Razor, meanwhile, grapples with internal strife within his organization. News of the baby's rescue has spread, and some members of the Southside Skulls are questioning Razor's leadership. They view his failure to secure Emily and Charlie as a sign of weakness. As murmurs of dissent grow, Razor must maintain control over his gang while orchestrating his next move against Emily and the police. The pressure forces him to consider increasingly desperate and violent measures. As these new challenges unfold, the situation becomes increasingly complex. Cooper must balance stealth with speed to reach safety. Morrison has to manage a compromised department while coordinating a high-stakes operation. Lisa is torn between duty and empathy in her approach to Emily, and Razor, feeling the walls close in, becomes more unpredictable and dangerous than ever. Cooper, emboldened by his narrow escape from Razor's gang members, doubles his pace through the back alleys. His powerful legs carry him swiftly yet smoothly, ensuring baby Charlie remains undisturbed. As he approaches the precinct, Cooper lets out a series of distinct barks, a special signal taught by Officer Sarah Thompson to alert the station of his arrival. The night shift officers, recognizing the unique call, spring into action, rushing to secure the perimeter and clear a path for Cooper's entry. Inside the precinct, Captain Morrison reacts swiftly to the news of a potential mole. He implements an immediate communication blackout, restricting all case-related information to a select few trusted officers. Morrison then initiates a series of false information leaks to various departments, each with a unique detail. By tracking which false lead reaches Razor, he hopes to identify the traitor. This chess move, born from years of experience, showcases Morrison's strategic thinking under pressure. Detective Lisa Chen, faced with the dilemma at the bus station, makes a bold decision. Instead of arresting Emily, she approaches her openly, hands visible and voice calm. "Emily, I'm here to help, not harm," Lisa calls out, slowly closing the distance between them. This compassionate approach catches Emily off guard. Years of dealing with frightened witnesses have taught Lisa the power of empathy. Her gamble pays off as Emily, seeing a potential ally rather than a threat, hesitates in her escape. Razor, sensing the growing dissent within his ranks, takes decisive action. He calls a meeting of his top lieutenants in an abandoned warehouse. As they gather, tension thick in the air, Razor unexpectedly singles out his most vocal critic. In a display of ruthless authority, he swiftly and brutally deals with the dissenter, sending a chilling message to anyone else harboring doubts about his leadership. This shocking act of violence reasserts Razor's dominance, but also reveals the desperation underlying his confident facade. These reactions set new dynamics in motion. Cooper races against time. Morrison turns the tables on the mole hunt. Lisa opens a channel of trust with Emily, and Razor tightens his grip on power through fear. As Cooper bursts through the precinct doors, the night shift officers react with a mix of surprise and swift professionalism. Officer Rodriguez, a rookie with a soft spot for animals, quickly approaches Cooper, carefully taking baby Charlie from the dog's gentle grip. The precinct erupts into controlled chaos as Rodriguez rushes the infant to the on-call medic for a checkup, while others praise Cooper, offering him water and treats. Captain Morrison, alerted to their arrival, hurries down from his office, his face a mask of relief and determination. Detective Lisa Chen's empathetic approach at the bus station bears fruit. Emily, her resolve crumbling under the weight of fear and exhaustion, finally breaks down. "I just want my baby to be safe," she sobs. Lisa, maintaining her calm demeanor, gently guides Emily to her unmarked car. "We'll protect you both," Lisa assures her, already formulating a plan to secure mother and child in a safe house. As they drive away, Lisa notices a suspicious vehicle in her rearview mirror. It seems Razor's men are not far behind. At the precinct, Captain Morrison's stratagem to smoke out the mole yields results faster than anticipated. He receives word that one of his false leads about a safe house location has already reached Razor's gang. The source? Detective Simmons, a veteran officer Morrison had trusted for years. Swallowing his personal disappointment, Morrison coordinates with internal affairs to set up a sting operation, determined to catch Simmons in the act of betrayal. Meanwhile, Razor, having reasserted his authority, shifts his focus to damage control. He orders his most tech-savvy lieutenant to hack into the city's CCTV system, searching for any sign of Emily or the police dog carrying the baby. At the same time, he dispatches his most ruthless enforcer, known only as the Ghost, to eliminate Emily and retrieve the child. A desperate move that shows just how far Razor is willing to go to protect his criminal empire. As these reactions unfold, the various threads of the story begin to intertwine more tightly. Cooper's successful rescue brings hope. Lisa and Emily form an uneasy alliance. Morrison closes in on the mole, and Razor's increasingly erratic actions set the stage for a climactic confrontation. The city of Chicago holds its breath, unaware of the drama unfolding in its shadowy corners. The Chicago night, once merely ominous, now crackles with palpable tension as multiple storylines converge towards an explosive climax. At the heart of the 21st Precinct, Captain Morrison orchestrates a high-stakes operation that will determine the fate of Emily, baby Charlie, and the future of the Southside Skulls. Inside the precinct's situation room, Morrison stands before a wall of monitors, each displaying different angles of the city. His trusted officers surround him, their faces etched with determination. "We have one shot at this," Morrison announces, his voice steady despite the pressure. "Emily and the baby are en route with Detective Chen. Razor's men are in pursuit, and our mole, Simmons, is feeding them information." He pauses, letting the gravity of the situation sink in. "Tonight, we end this." Meanwhile, Detective Lisa Chen's car weaves through the city streets, her eyes constantly darting to the rearview mirror. In the back seat, Emily cradles a blanket-wrapped bundle, her knuckles white with tension. "It's okay, Charlie," she whispers, though the bundle is merely a decoy. "We're almost safe." Lisa's phone buzzes with a text from Morrison. "Mole confirmed. Trust no one but Cooper's team." Across town, Razor paces in his makeshift command center, an abandoned warehouse filled with high-tech surveillance equipment. His face contorts with rage as he watches the CCTV feeds. "How hard is it to find one woman and a baby?" he snarls at his lieutenants. Suddenly his phone pings, a message from his mole, Simmons. A cruel smile spreads across Razor's face as he reads the supposed location of the safe house where Emily and Charlie will be taken. Back at the precinct, Cooper sits alertly by the real baby Charlie, who's being cared for by the precinct's child specialist. The Labrador's ears prick up at the sound of approaching footsteps. Officer Sarah Thompson has arrived, summoned by Morrison for this crucial operation. The reunion between dog and handler is brief but poignant, both understanding the gravity of what's to come. As night deepens, all parties begin to move. Lisa's car, followed closely by Razor's men, approaches an industrial area on the outskirts of Chicago. Morrison's team, split into strategic groups, take up positions around the supposed safe house and along potential escape routes. Cooper and Sarah, entrusted with the most precious cargo, embark on a secret route known only to Morrison. The stage is set for a confrontation that will shake the Chicago underworld to its core. Emily, clutching the decoy bundle, feels her heart racing as Lisa pulls up to the safe house. Razor's men, led by the ruthless Ghost, prepare to strike, confident in their intel, and somewhere in the shadows, Detective Simmons watches, unaware that his betrayal has already been uncovered. As the clock ticks towards midnight, the city holds its breath. The next few moments will determine not just the fate of a mother and child, but the very soul of Chicago's streets. As they exit the vehicle, the night air feels electric with tension. Shadows seem to move at the edges of their vision, and every small sound, the rustle of leaves, the distant hum of traffic, feels amplified. Lisa leads Emily towards the building's side entrance, their footsteps echoing in the eerie quiet. Suddenly, a voice crackles through Lisa's earpiece, Captain Morrison's urgent tone cutting through the static. "Chen, it's a trap. Simmons fed bad intel. Get out now." But the warning comes a split second too late. Lisa, thinking fast, pushes Emily behind her and draws her weapon. "Emily, run!" she shouts, firing off 2 quick shots that send Razor's men diving for cover. Emily, terrified but determined, clutches the decoy bundle and sprints towards the building's back alley. Across town, Cooper and Sarah Thompson race through the streets in an unmarked police van, the real baby Charlie secured safely in a specially designed carrier. Sarah's knuckles are white on the steering wheel as she navigates the city's maze-like streets, following a route known only to her and Morrison. Cooper sits alertly in the back, his body tense, ready to protect the infant at all costs. Back at the safe house, chaos reigns. The sound of gunfire echoes through the night as Lisa engages in a fierce firefight with Razor's men, buying time for Emily to escape. Captain Morrison, monitoring the situation from the command center, barks orders into his radio. "All units converge on the safe house now. Protect Chen and the civilian at all costs." In the back alley, Emily runs for her life, the weight of the decoy bundle reminding her of what's truly at stake. The sound of heavy footsteps behind her sends a chill down her spine. The ghost is in pursuit, his long strides quickly closing the gap. As these threads hurtle towards collision, the night sky over Chicago is suddenly illuminated by the whir of helicopter blades. Morrison has called in air support, casting a spotlight on the unfolding drama below. Udail! In this moment of peak tension, with gunfire exchanged, a mother running for her life, and a precious infant's fate hanging in the balance, the true measure of each character is about to be revealed. The next few minutes will determine who emerges victorious from this web of loyalty, betrayal, and desperate gambles. As the chaos at the safe house reaches its peak, a startling revelation unfolds. The ghost, closing in on Emily in the back alley, suddenly stops in his tracks. His hand, reaching out to grab her, freezes mid-air. "Wait!" he calls out, his voice losing its menacing edge. "Emily, it's me!" Emily turns, her eyes wide with shock as the ghost removes his mask, revealing a face she knows all too well, her brother Michael. "I infiltrated Razor's gang to protect you," he explains hurriedly, the sounds of the gunfight growing louder behind them. This unexpected twist throws Emily into a whirlwind of emotions, relief, confusion, and a flicker of hope. Meanwhile, at the precinct's command center, Captain Morrison receives an urgent call from an unexpected source, FBI agent Tate. "Morrison, your operation has just stumbled into the middle of a 2-year federal investigation into Razor's international connections," Tate explains rapidly. "Simmons isn't just a corrupt cop, he's our deep cover agent." This revelation sends shockwaves through the operation. Morrison, his mind racing, realizes the full scope of the situation they've unwittingly entered. The local gang war they thought they were dealing with is just the tip of a much larger, more dangerous iceberg. Across town, as Cooper and Sarah speed towards a secure location with baby Charlie, they encounter an unexpected obstacle. A group of civilians, unaware of the unfolding drama, has gathered for a late-night protest, blocking their planned route. Sarah, forced to think on her feet, must find a way through without endangering the civilians or compromising their mission. Back at the safe house, Detective Lisa Chen, pinned down by gunfire, receives Morrison's urgent update about Simmons and the FBI operation. In a split second, she must recalibrate her entire approach, unsure who among the chaos of Razor's men might be undercover agents like Emily's brother. As these revelations ripple through the night, each character must quickly adapt to a reality far more complex than they initially believed. The lines between ally and enemy blur, and the stakes, already high, soar to new heights. As the revelations continue to unfold, another shocking twist emerges. Razor, monitoring the situation from his command center, receives an encrypted message on a secure channel. His face, usually a mask of cold calculation, suddenly pales. The message reveals that his entire operation has been compromised, not by the local police or the FBI, but by an international task force that has been tracking a global crime syndicate, of which Razor is merely a pawn. Realizing that his position is untenable, Razor makes a desperate move. He initiates a scorched earth protocol, ordering his loyal lieutenants to destroy all evidence and prepare for immediate evacuation. But as he turns to flee, he finds himself face to face with one of his most trusted advisors, who reveals herself to be an undercover Interpol agent. Meanwhile, Cooper and Sarah, still navigating the unexpected protest, make a startling discovery. Among the protesters, Sarah spots a face she recognizes from briefing files, a high-ranking member of Razor's gang. The realization hits her. The protest is not random, but a carefully orchestrated distraction, part of a larger plan they're only now beginning to unravel. Back in the alley, Emily and her brother Michael race against time, with Michael explaining the full scope of his undercover work. He reveals that baby Charlie's safety was always guaranteed. The FBI had orchestrated the entire rescue operation, using Cooper as an unwitting but highly effective pawn to ensure the infant's protection while maintaining the illusion of danger to draw out Razor's organization. At the command center, Captain Morrison grapples with the influx of new information. The case has exploded beyond the boundaries of Chicago, revealing a web of international crime that dwarfs anything he had imagined. As he coordinates with FBI agent Tate and the newly revealed Interpol operatives, Morrison realizes that this night will reshape not just his career, but the entire landscape of global law enforcement. These cascading revelations transform the night's events from a local crime drama into a pivotal moment in a far-reaching international operation. Each character, from Cooper to Emily, from Morrison to Razor, must rapidly adjust to their new reality, their roles in the unfolding drama, shifting with each new piece of information. As the night's revelations settle, the various threads of the conflict begin to resolve in a coordinated effort that spans from the streets of Chicago to international command centers. At the safe house, Detective Lisa Chen, now aware of the larger operation at play, strategically repositions herself. Using her newly acquired knowledge, she manages to isolate and neutralize Razor's remaining loyal men without harming the undercover operatives. Her quick thinking and adaptability turn the tide of the firefight, bringing the chaotic scene under control. Meanwhile, Emily and her brother Michael rendezvous with a covert FBI extraction team. As they're safely escorted from the area, Emily's fear begins to subside, replaced by a mix of relief and lingering uncertainty about the future. Michael assures her that she and Charlie will be placed in a top-tier witness protection program, marking the beginning of a new, safer chapter in their lives. Cooper and Sarah, having navigated through the orchestrated protest, successfully deliver baby Charlie to a secure FBI safe house. The moment is charged with emotion as Cooper gently nuzzles the baby one last time before handing him over to the waiting agents. Sarah, witnessing this, is struck by the depth of the bond between the loyal Labrador and the infant he protected so fiercely. At Razor's command center, the Interpol agent swiftly takes control, coordinating with international teams to secure evidence and apprehend key members of the global syndicate. Razor, once a feared crime lord, now finds himself powerless, his empire crumbling around him in a matter of minutes. Captain Morrison, coordinating efforts from the precinct's command center, watches as the pieces fall into place. The joint operation between local police, FBI, and Interpol begins to wrap up, with arrests being made across the city. Detective Simmons, his cover no longer necessary, emerges from the shadows to provide crucial information that helps round up the remaining members of Razor's organization. As dawn breaks over Chicago, the full scope of the night's events becomes clear. Razor and his top lieutenants are in custody, their international connections exposed and severed. The evidence gathered promises to dismantle not just the local gang, but significant portions of the global crime syndicate they were part of. Emily and Charlie are reunited in a touching moment at the FBI safe house, as mother and child embrace, watched over by Michael and the agents. There's a palpable sense of a nightmare ending and a new beginning on the horizon. The Witness Protection Program promises them a fresh start, free from the shadows of their past. Back at the precinct, Cooper receives a hero's welcome. Officers line the halls, applauding as the loyal Labrador trots in, tail wagging. Captain Morrison kneels down to Cooper's level, affectionately ruffling his fur. "Good boy," he says softly, his voice thick with emotion. "You did more than we could have ever asked." In a final act of resolution, Mayor Thompson holds a press conference commending the bravery of the Chicago PD, especially highlighting Cooper's role in the operation. She announces increased funding for the K-9 unit and new initiatives to combat organized crime, signaling a renewed commitment to the city's safety. As the various players in this complex operation stand down, there's a collective sense of relief and accomplishment. The immediate threat has been neutralized, and the groundwork laid for lasting change in Chicago's fight against crime. At the precinct, Captain Morrison sits in his office, staring at the commendation letter from the mayor. His eyes, tired from sleepless nights, reflect a mix of pride and introspection. The weight of the revelations, the international connections, the deep cover agents, the scale of what they've accomplished settles on him. He realizes that his role in law enforcement has forever changed, bringing both new responsibilities and a renewed sense of purpose. Detective Lisa Chen, having played a crucial role in the operation's success, finds herself grappling with conflicting emotions. The adrenaline of the night has worn off, leaving her with a profound sense of accomplishment tinged with exhaustion. As she debriefs with her team, recounting the harrowing moments at the safe house, she feels a new bond forming with her colleagues, forged in the crucible of shared danger and triumph. For Emily, the emotional journey is perhaps the most profound. Safely ensconced in a temporary FBI facility with Charlie, she alternates between tears of relief and anxiety about the future. The joy of having her son safe in her arms is tempered by the knowledge that their lives will never be the same. As she watches Charlie peacefully sleeping, unaware of the danger they've escaped, Emily makes a silent promise to build a better life for them both, whatever challenges lie ahead. Cooper, our K-9 hero, experiences emotions in his own unique way. Back at the K-9 training facility, he exhibits a mix of contentment at a job well done and an eagerness for the next challenge. The bond with Officer Sarah Thompson has deepened, their shared experience creating an unspoken understanding between handler and dog. Officer Sarah Thompson, reflecting on the night's events, feels a surge of pride mixed with a newfound respect for her K-9 partner. As she watches Cooper during their training sessions, she sees him in a new light, not just as a highly trained police dog, but as a hero capable of compassion and unwavering loyalty. This realization deepens her commitment to the K-9 program and strengthens her resolve to advocate for its expansion. For Michael, Emily's brother, the end of his deep cover operation brings a complex wave of emotions. The relief of finally being able to ensure his sister's safety is tempered by the weight of the secrets he's carried and the double life he's led. As he begins the process of debriefing with the FBI, he grapples with reintegrating into his true identity, finding solace in the knowledge that his sacrifices have made a significant impact. The emotional ripples extend to the broader Chicago community as well. Citizens, learning of the operation's success and the role played by the local police and their canine unit, experience a renewed sense of safety and trust in law enforcement. The story of Cooper's bravery, in particular, captures the public's imagination, becoming a symbol of hope and protection in troubled times. Even Razor, now facing the consequences of his actions in custody, undergoes an emotional journey. The collapse of his criminal empire forces him to confront the hollowness of his former power and the weight of his choices. In quiet moments in his cell, the reality of his new circumstances begins to sink in, bringing with it a mix of anger, regret, and the first seeds of introspection. These varied emotional responses paint a complex picture of the operation's impact, highlighting the human element behind the headlines and showcasing the profound ways in which a single night can change multiple lives forever. Captain Morrison, reinvigorated by the success of the operation, implements new training programs within the police department, focusing on interagency cooperation and advanced techniques in combating organized crime. His leadership, tempered by the recent experiences, inspires a new generation of officers dedicated to protecting their community. Emily and Charlie, now under the Witness Protection Program, start their new life in a quiet suburban town. Though the adjustment is challenging, Emily finds strength in the memory of that fateful night, drawing inspiration from the bravery and dedication of those who risked everything to keep her and her son safe. She becomes an advocate for child safety programs in her new community, turning her experience into a force for positive change. Anais, Cooper, hailed as a hero, becomes the face of the Chicago PD's community outreach program. His story, shared in schools and community centers, serves as a powerful reminder of the unbreakable bond between humans and animals and the extraordinary impact this partnership can have in law enforcement. The successful dismantling of Razor's network leads to a significant decrease in crime rates across the city. Chicago's residents, feeling safer and more connected to their police force, actively engage in community-building initiatives, fostering a spirit of unity and resilience. As the city moves forward, the events of that night become more than just a victory against crime. They stand as a testament to the power of courage, loyalty, and the indomitable spirit of those who stand up for what's right, regardless of the odds. In the weeks following the operation, Chicago experiences a profound transformation. The collaborative effort between local law enforcement, federal agencies, and international partners sets a new standard for tackling complex criminal networks. The city's success story becomes a model for other metropolitan areas facing similar challenges. Captain Morrison, recognized for his exceptional leadership, is promoted to deputy chief, where he continues to champion innovative policing strategies and interagency cooperation. Detective Lisa Chen, having proved her mettle under extreme pressure, takes charge of a new task force dedicated to combating organized crime. Emily and Charlie, settled into their new life, find peace and security. Emily's advocacy work gains traction, inspiring other survivors to share their stories and contribute to community safety initiatives. 1 year later, at a national law enforcement conference, Captain Morrison, now deputy chief, shares the stage with Officer Sarah Thompson and Cooper. As they recount the events of that fateful night, the audience is reminded that true heroism often comes in unexpected forms, and that the bonds of trust and loyalty between humans and animals can change the world for the better. To our viewers, remember, every community has its unsung heroes, both human and animal. Support your local law enforcement, engage in community programs, and consider the incredible impact of K9 units. Together, we can build safer, more connected communities. share Cooper's story, and inspire others to recognize the extraordinary potential of partnerships between humans and animals in creating positive change.